Namaste everyone. In today's video discussion, I'm going to share with you all channel messages on the many retrogrades that are taking place. Now, 2018, let's look at that year. 2018. This is the year that is really pioneering us forward into, let's say, 2019, 2024. Now, according to Yogi Bhajan, this time period is the gray period, meaning when humanity goes through these thresholds. Okay, it's like an incubation period. Now the threshold is very much when two ages are overlapping. So we have the Piscean age, okay, that we've had thousands of years in, and now we're entering into the Aquarian age. So the Piscean age and the Aquarian age are pretty much overlapping. That is a threshold. That is an incubation period. And during that incubation period, particularly 2018, okay, it's very pioneering us forward. It is rocketing us out of the destructive timeline that we've it's been running off into many, many ages. And that has to do with the patriarchal design. Now, what's interesting about this age, the Aquarius age, and how it's different from the other cups ages before Pisces age, which was thousands of years in the past, is that those cups ages were during the patriarchal timeline. Now that patriarchal timeline encompasses many cups ages. So there are many zodiac signs the patriarchal crosses through the patriarchal age or patriarchal timeline. Now the patriarchal timeline, if we look at our history textbooks, it very much starts at the Egyptian time. So when we think of all the Egyptian pharaohs, that is pretty much the beginning and mid of the patriarchal timeline that we've been in. So we cross through the patriarchal timeline and we also cross through the matriarchal timeline. It's very much life, existence is ebbs and flows, rises and fallings, and rising into higher dimensions and falling into lower dimension. It is all for the equalizing of humanity. Okay, humanity is dynamic. Humanity is the animal, is the human, is the heart, is the mind, is the energy, is the soul, is expression. So all of these facets of human must be explored. From the animal, which is the very, let's say, the 2 dimension, the 3rd dimension that we're in, all the way up to the expression. Let's say like a 7th dimension of consciousness. Expression, which encompasses all of the schools of thought. From the animal to the human, to the heart, to the mind, to the energy, to the soul, to the expression of the many schools of thought. It's like a mastery of the many schools of thought. And then we move to a higher, you could say higher, once we have explored thoroughly, as we have, the patriarchal design, we've thoroughly explored and experimentated with the patriarchal, which is the masculine energy. Okay, the masculine principle, which is about linear time, rational thinking. It's about math and science. And that has to do with the left side of the brain and the right side of your body. Hello, everyone. My right hand. Okay? So this Cups age is very, very, what's the right word? It's very significant because not only are we at the threshold of Piscean age, Aquarian age, we're in this incubation period, we're at this threshold, we're also at the beginning of the matriarchal rise or ascension. And the matriarchal represents ascension, so feminine energy. So when we look at the world collectively, when we look at the words such as awakening or ascension, basically what that implies is that we as humans are undergoing some sort of unlocking of our spiritual gifts. So we're getting more sensitive, we're getting more aware of possibilities that maybe are, let's say, our more masculine, our patriarchal design could not access. Because patriarchal is, like I said, linear, time, rational time, math, and science. So with the patriarchal, we're focused on concise, being concise. Okay, so the largeness, the expansiveness of the magic and wonder of the matriarchal femininity, it's contracted into concise living. And that's the patriarchal. But that's a part of the flow, like the diaphragm or the expansion contraction of the universe. Everything is very much like water. It is fluidity, and that fluidity has movement. It's not just staying in one kind of dimension its entire existence, because existence is very complex and dynamic, and that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it infinite. It wouldn't be an infinite universe if we just came to Earth to experiment with one dimension. Okay, so it's very much like the diaphragm. That movement, that expansion, that contraction is what actually renews consciousness again and again and again. It renews consciousness. It opens consciousness to greater opportunities. It inspires consciousness. And inspiration is very much moving, and that movement supporting freshness of being, that freshness of being giving a new light, a new life, a new enthusiasm, a new perspective, a new embodiment to experiment with and to experience to its fullness. With the 2018 energy and all these retrogrades, I'll get into more detail about each of the planets and the zodiacs and how they're all working towards supporting our being initiated kind of into the Aquarian age, I like to say. So 2018 is very much pioneering, and looking at the energies, I took little notes on all the planets in the zodiac, looking at the energies, what I'm feeling and sensing intuitively, because I'm not an astrologist, but I do like to explore the planets and zodiacs frequently. This 2018, okay, we're going to be in this threshold. Before I get into that, I would like to discuss a little bit more about the gray period that Yogi Bhajan referred to. Okay, the gray period and other time periods have experienced this. This gray period is very much the Aquarian design is being brought into the system. Okay. At the same time, the Piscean design is wanting to leave the system. So we have this entering and we have this exiting energy. So what that does for the human, and particularly the human, let's say the human neurology, is it causes this great, I like to say, makeshift within the brain. So a lot of things are moving around. Because think about it. The Aquarian age is our new design for humanity. And not only is it our new design, but it's also the ascension of the matriarchal, which is the higher dimensions of human existence on this planet Earth moving into the future. So what that means is our current, let's say, blueprint, like if you take a picture of your brain, okay, you could see the pattern. Okay, our brain is in this pattern. Okay, but that pattern will not best support the ascension into the matriarchal, let's say, thousands of years, like 12,000 years plus or minus. Okay. So in order for us to be able to handle these higher vibrations that the Aquarian age is kind of initiating us, we're like being initiated in, we have to go through this total makeshift. So visualize like the brain and the energy of the brain, because it's just chi, it's just energy in the brain. And that energy in the brain is being reconfigured, it's being repatterned. And that's why we're all in this kind of overwhelmed state, overwhelmed mentally. And this is collectively, because our very patterns are being refined, and our very mental complex, mental construct is very much being shifted around. Because in order for us to receive higher energies, our brain has to be strong and has to be in this pattern of thought that is expanded enough to be able to understand these higher vibrations. Not only to understand, but also understand to a level where you can implement it into the collective. Okay. So after 2024, it's pretty much, right now, it's like everything's kind of moving around and it's shifting and it's reorganizing and it's repatterning everything of our total being. Okay, not only it's the neurology, but it's also our heart space. It's also our sensuality. It's kind of being moved around and reorganized, as well as, let's say, culturally, religiously, let's say our ideology, sociology, all of that is going through this total re-identification. And that starts from the neurology, because the neurology is the power that basically conducts the religion, the culture, the ideology, sociology, all of that is a product of the neurology state within the collective brainwave. So everything that is outside of us, all of these macro level experiences that govern our society, is pretty much reflecting the neurological pattern within the human design at that period in time. So if you noticed, if you know your history textbooks, that we cross through many eras and ages. And within many of these eras and ages, that can be a century, that could be maybe 500 century, could be 1,000 years. You've noticed that the religion, the culture, the ideology, even the technology, the sociology, all of that has experienced a re-identification, either subtly or either massively within a nation or a collective group. Okay. And basically that it mirrors the neurological makeshift within here. Okay. And that makeshift, that it happens all the time, it supports renewal of energy. So if we had the same pattern of thought, I like to say school of thought, collectively, for, let's say, 12,000 years, there would be no renewal of intelligence. The very fact of movement, the very fact of circulation, distribution, it supports the creativity, the inspiration, the enthusiasm, the infinity. Infinity crosses through our neurology, and what supports that infinity is the natural planetary cycle on Earth. That is evolution. And evolution is not a state. It is very much evolving, like an adjective movement, or it's constantly being renewed. It's constantly being re-identified. So we are re-identifying with our environment through the re-identification that is taking place with our neurology, and particularly our neurology when it comes to, for this Aquarian age, when it comes to what it means to be authentic, what it means to be original, what it means to be sovereign, and what it means to be expansive. Okay, so that's very much this gray period that all the planets in our solar system are supporting us in this incubation period. Like you're being incubated, and within you there is a new pattern of thought, a new school of thought that is basically kind of just subtly, finding its way within you, finding its way. But with the awakening, you say spiritual awakening, what happens is the intensity, the overwhelming feeling is simply the runoff of, let's say, the patriarchal experiment that 12,000 years plus or minus, when we think of the Egyptian pharaohs, that's what I kind of see as the beginning mid of this patriarchal design. So what that means is, as we arise or ascend into higher frequencies, okay, being initiated into higher frequencies, when we start accessing, let's say, gifts and talents that are cosmic vibration, all of that, let's say, the runoff of the stuff, okay, like the stuff, like to say, like energetic debris and cloaked energy that are around us, that, round our throats, round our ankles, round our wrists, all of that, we have to pioneer and break through. So it's very much about a breakthrough. Out of the demise timeline, we're having a breakthrough. Because up until now, it's been kind of weird. So we're having a breakthrough. And that is the energy of right now, 2018, is supporting our breakthrough out of the stale, the stagnant, the dull kind of thought patterns. It's helping us to get the energy to have any breakthrough we want, so that we can properly be initiated into the new school of thought. Because this go round, we are all entering a new pattern of thought collectively. So there's no, we're leaving people behind. No, we are all entering into this matriarchal design. And that's why we're having all these retrogrades right now, because the retrogrades are making it pretty clear, pretty distinct, okay, that we are all collectively planetary. We are all rising together into our new school of thought. And that new school of thought is exciting because it represents psychic abilities being awakened, represents all of the suppressed stuff and debris that we've held to us heavy. We get an opportunity to unlock healing abilities that can heal the thing we've wanted to heal for generations. It's giving us the knowledge of wisdom, of starlight, of cosmos, even of Mother Earth, ancient Mother Earth, knowledge and wisdom to learn the lesson that the patriarchal design could not learn. And that's why we went through many generations, many centuries of repeating, because we didn't have the higher energy. The masculine could not, the patriarchal design didn't have the caliber to be able to hold higher energy long enough to be able to learn the lesson of that thing that keeps repeating in religion or ideology or sociology. Okay? But our unlocking is going to unlock many things within our neurology, and then that's going to project out into our environment. Okay. And that's also getting into the magic and the wonder of the feminine principle. So, getting into the retrogrades, it's talked about 2018, and it's just overall energy. Now, okay. So the theme for these retrogrades, just the overall theme intuitively. This is my own intuitive, you could say, discovery. So, I'm just looking at my notes. I'd say these retrogrades, we've several retrogrades, and I'm not going to give the dates because I just want to focus on the energy of it. Because the energy, it's kind of timeless. You can pick up on energy that is way after its date or way before its date. It just depends on energetically what you want, what you need, or what you want to experience in this moment now to help you successfully navigate this initiation process. So, what comes to me intuitively is the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Now, I see this phoenix, this bird, this phoenix like a hawk. I see it as a hawk, but I see it the rising out of the ashes. I see it with its wings open, and it around its entire body is gas stove blue. Now, I've been seeing a lot of gas stove blue recently, and gas stove blue is the core of the flame. Okay, so there's layers to a flame, and the base, is the root. So what that represents is that we are experiencing a transformation. Okay, because there's also some Scorpio energy right here in this Scorpio in these retrogrades with all these many planets. So what that means is that we are being transformed at the very base level. So like the basement, the foundation. So that foundation that is being explored, being unlocked, being unblocked, and being brought into awareness. We could say it is our childhood, and it is our foundational ideas that we basically build upon. So those foundational ideas. Okay, those foundational ideas are being purified. So we're purifying those foundational ideas. And like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, we're rising out of the ashes of foundational ideas that doesn't bring us vitality. Because ashes is like coal. It is not alive. Okay, you say it's not lively, it's not alive. Okay. And we're rising out of that, like the phoenix rising out of those foundational ideas. Either you're given from your parents, you're given from your caretakers. Okay, foundational ideas that are very much like ash. There's no energy to it. So we're moving away from building upon energy-less ideas, and you can know them. Okay, the heavy doubts, the low self-esteem, the I'm not good enough. That is energy-less, like ash. Okay, so we're rising out of that, okay, with this gas stove blue, and we're transforming that very foundational idea. we're transforming it. And with the Jupiter, I'm going to get right now into the Jupiter. Jupiter is about the expansion of perception. So we are re-relating to our foundation, which is our childhood, our caretaker, when we're very young, even in the womb. We're re-relating to that particular time. And the gas stove blue, which is the Scorpio energy, is we are experiencing a death of it, a death of that old relationship we had with it, which was maybe from a lower vibration state, and we're going to re-relate to it from a higher vibrational state that is more of compassion, acceptance, understanding, and unconditional love. Now that's a higher vibration. Now we didn't see a lot of that, let's say, collectively. We've seen it here and there with philosophy like Leo Tus and many philosophers, but we didn't see it. We couldn't hold it. We couldn't hold that caliber. But right now with these retrogrades, they're giving us an opportunity to go to it and giving us energy, backing us up. Go to it either through meditation or a self-hypnosis, and we can rewrite our relationship to that foundational idea. So we are expanding our perception of our childhood in those foundational ideas. So expanding our perception, expanding our foundation gives us room to, basically, we can build. We have room to actually build something very tall and very stable within our life. So the reason we're all feeling insecure, we're all feeling unstable, because we're building on a foundation that is very wobbly, very, very wobbly, and that is our doubt. Therefore, we self-sabotage, we don't feel good enough, therefore we don't initiate, we are not assertive, we don't really kind of command ourselves for success. We have all of this kind of lackluster with life that either we got in childhood or from our caretakers that we absorbed. So therefore, we don't have the enthusiasm, the optimism to revolutionize our environment into victory kind of thing. So all of that, we're getting to the foundation through this Jupiter energy, putting Jupiter into that foundation, and we're expanding the perception. So Jupiter is about breaking free and expanding your world. And you can't do that at adult level. You have to go to the childhood level, because foundation, if it is shaky, no matter if your building is wonderfully designed, that foundation is in the swamps and on little stilts, it's gonna come down. Okay. So that's a little bit about this Jupiter energy that I intuitively am sensing with the hawk rising out of the ashes of the energy-less foundational ideas that don't bring you anywhere. It just kind of keeps you don't have no energy to go anywhere, you kind of thing. And then we have the Saturn retrograde. So Saturn, we have it with this Capricorn. I call Capricorn the master builder. The master builder. So we went from what I was sensing with this Jupiter, expanding of our childhood beliefs, okay, re-relating to our childhood and basically reparenting our childhood. So our childhood is one of high caliber beliefs, foundational ideas that support a high caliber adult's life, okay, success, victory, and expansion. So Saturn, I'm going to just get into the intuitive guidance about Saturn. So the Saturn planet all has to do with our structure, and it has to do with our discipline. Very much Saturn I connect to devotion. Not devotion to like a deity, can be, but with Saturn is devotion to your growth. your personal growth and development. It's saying personal growth and development with the Saturn energy is your discipline. It's your discipline. So whenever let's say we have these Saturn returns that I'm sure a lot of you are aware of, basically we're getting to look at ourselves and ask ourselves the tough questions, because Saturn is very much a disciplinary. The tough questions. Are we doing anything or have been doing anything up until now that does not serve us? Have we been lying to ourselves about something that we do that does not serve our personal growth and development? So when we are in let's say a routine, because it's very much like routine based, routine that let's say we do, but it does not give us a sense of onward motion, a sense of personal growth and development, Saturn will basically revive us. So that's why it can be quite painful, but it's like wonderstruck. The Saturn when it goes through your return, because you have an opportunity to structure yourself differently, and that restructuring opens your life to another talent and gift or way of expressing yourself that maybe you weren't aware of, or you couldn't access in your old structured or routine, your old momentum. So Saturn presents a basically kind of a manual through structure, through discipline, that can help people to experience another facet of themselves that they want to experience for personal growth and development. Okay, it's like you're being given a new gift, but with that gift, there's a requirement. Okay, with a new school of thought, there's always new requirements for that new school of thought. So you've been in this school of thought, you did wonderfully, now let's go into a new one, but we're always nervous. We're always nervous because it requires us to have a routine that's different than what we were doing before. And we human can get into, we've been taught again and again to just be this. So we've been taught to basically kind of be stagnant. We've been taught you need to do this, you need to do that. So box. So that's why it's kind of, intense. So with the Saturn Capricorn, so Capricorn represents the master builder. The master builder. So what this means is with the master builder is we are getting this, we're looking at our discipline around manifestation, our commitment to our manifestation, because Capricorn is very much the person that will see it through. So it's very much like it's like an earth energy. So it's very much getting connected. Are you involved in your manifestation, or are you just setting intellectual ideas, but you're not actually hands-on? So it's asking you to get on a routine where you are hands-on with your manifestation. Okay, that is supporting us right now. Getting hands-on with your manifestation. It's like getting in the dirt. Getting in the dirt and learning what it means to build something from the ground, which is Mother Earth, to its flourishing. So now I'm going to get into, so we have the Pluto. So Pluto retrograde, so I'm not even complete. Okay, and that is the Pluto is, let's say it's the life and it's the death. It is the deconstruction for the repatterning. So Pluto can be very intense, because when Pluto shows up, it is very much like the death card. There is going to be a death of a perception, of an ideology, of a religion, and it's very intense. It's very much like this death must happen because this is not working. So we need to move on. So that is also in Capricorn energy. So that is saying a death of this false sense of being a let's say, a master builder. It's a false sense of being victorious. Okay, victorious in the Capricorn, the patriarchal could be, you have this level income, you have this wife, you have this house, you have this possession, Capricorn, but you have no leadership over your life, no leadership quality that you present to humanity, to the collective that you're in, group. That's false. So all of this false, this false credentials, this false, diplomas, this false kind of living life, but you have no leadership, you're going to experience a death. So we're experiencing a death of our whole idea, what we think it is to be a master builder. Okay, and the Pluto is very much, let's look at the dark little things and let's bring light to it. Okay, and let's decide to bring some truth to what we're doing. And is it actually honest to the, let's say, the core principle of being a master builder, which is leadership quality? Okay. So then we have the Neptune. So the Neptune is in the Pisces. Very interesting. And Neptune is this planet of imagination, psychic receptivity, inspiration, illusion, confusion. It is the watery flow of creativity. So it's waking up and facing reality. So the Pisces. So we're being I would say our psychic receptivity is being enhanced, because Pisces with Neptune, Pisces is very much about being masterful. So it is the last zodiac in the 12 zodiac, Aries to Pisces. And Pisces is very much the sign that is able to know all of the signs. So Pisces, I see it as the total wheel from Aries to Pisces. The Pisces is like the old wise wizard. Okay, they've traveled through all the zodiacs and now they have a thorough understanding of what it means to be the total self, which is being all of the signs. So I feel what this represents is we are getting masterful at receiving our imagination. So imagination is opening, and we're using that imagination not to escape. Okay, we can't escape into it. But with the other retrogrades, we're bringing that imagination into its grounded form. So all of this elusiveness, this illusion, being up in the clouds, we are grounding it with these other retrograde energies. We're grounding our imagination into a grounded embodiment and using that grounded form to help us as humanity to bring forth new ideas that are pragmatic. Okay, with these Capricorn, pragmatic. Okay, leadership. So we're getting into a leadership over this whole realm of imagination. We're turning it into manifestation, which is it's a practical form. It's productive form. It's finite form. So we're going to experience a lot of traveling into this wonderland, like the Pisces, this wonderland. But with the other energies, they're keeping us pretty grounded. So we're not going to be just lost in some fairyland. We're going to be able to bring that imagination back with us when we get into Mother Earth, which we are right now. Okay. So with the Mars, we have Mars retrograde, and that's Aquarius. It's like it never ends. Okay, now they're all at different times, but they're pretty much all back to back. So Mars and Aquarius. Mars is a quite enthusiastic planet. It is very energetic. Mars wants to be alive. Mars is the revolutionary spirit. Mars is the warrior. Mars is the integrity, the dignity, the stronghold. That is the Mars energy. It's a energy that is very capable of moving and shaking what doesn't serve out and bringing forth in something that is new. So they're very much the pioneers, which is interesting. We have in Aquarius. So Aquarius, with this combination, I'm seeing, what I am sensing intuitively is that we are bringing power in the sense of in the sense of hold on, I'm getting something. Movement, like a movement. Aries in, which is Mars, represents movement. So we're bringing movement, which is forward movement, like a movement. We all know, movement is what that does. Okay, we're bringing a movement to the Aquarian age. We're bringing a movement to the authentic, to the original inside of ourselves, the truth, the integrity inside of ourselves. It's becoming a movement where we are deciding, I am going to let myself move this way. I'm going to bring empowerment to my sense of authenticity, my sense of originality, my sense of integrity. Let's bring a movement to integrity. And we see that collectively, even in the past. So we have Mercury, and that's in Leo energy, and that is, Mercury has to do with sensory information from both conscious and unconscious, communicative ideas, and intelligence. So Mercury, I see it as, it is the Gemini zodiac, but it's in this Leo. And Leo is all about being assertive, being courageous, and also having high self-esteem. So this combination is showing us that now is the time to communicate with a sense of, I know who I am, rather than a sense of communicating either conscious or unconsciously. I have so much doubt that I don't really know if I'm going to be able to get to do this. Okay, so communication is, we have the conscious, we have the unconscious, we have the subconscious communication, and that where ideas are at. Like foundational ideas is usually subconscious, but that is what basically governs our conscious ideas. So the Leo is giving us the courage to be able to face any kind of communication we have going on with ourselves, on conscious, unconscious, or subconscious, that does not give us a sense of high self-esteem. So we're getting into the command language of our natural born gift, which is to be able to connect our self to something greater than ourself. And then we have the final, or not the final, we have the Venus, and that's going to be in Scorpio. Venus is about our relationship. It's also about our emotions. It has to do with the heart. The heart. It's a very calm planet in its energy that I pick up. It's very loving. It's very comforting. And it's very much wants you to know that you are loved. You are loved. So it brings humanity to unity. So Venus in Scorpio, the unity. We are experiencing the phoenix rising out of the ashes, transformation when it comes to the way we relate to each other. So what that means is the way we relate to each other, we're getting back to the purity of the way we relate. So purity, which is unconditional love. That's very much what Venus is. We're getting back to that unconditional love with each other. And this is what all of these, not just this retrograde, but all of the others are supporting this whole death of our negative relationships to each other, the low vibe relationships that doesn't really make us feel comforted, supported, or safe, or loved. And we're getting back to that higher vibratory state through the Scorpio Phoenix rising out of the ashes. We're getting to, I see the Hawk with yellow energy, so we're getting back to the confidence to be able to embrace each other as we are, where we are at in our evolution. That's what brings unity. That's what brings us all as a planet into unconditional love. The unity through accepting where everybody's at with total confidence that this is a part of the growing of individual and collectively. And then we have the Uranus and Taurus, and this is something that's going to be a longer retrograde. And this is connection to higher self, freedom and creativity, innovation, discovery, progression, science, and invention. So Taurus is, I like to say, is the most grounded sign, the most grounded sign, earth sign. And Taurus is very much deep. So Taurus is very wise, very, very wise. So Pisces is very wise in the way they're very imaginative. So they're very up in all kinds of dimensions in the astral realm, the dimensions on other planets. They're very imaginative. But Taurus is wise in the sense is, I know Earth. I'm a giant tree. My roots go deep into the earth, and I know Earth. So what we're doing is we're bringing a deep wonder for knowing the earth back into our hearts. We're bringing a deep discovery, a desire to want to discover Mother Earth and her wisdom that is everywhere. So we're getting into a deep creative expression with Mother Earth. Expression. We are wanting to clear away this excess stuff that distracts and that disconnects us from our bodies, from our minds, from our environment, from each other. And we're getting back to that simplistic radiance, which is the Taurus energy, and using that simplistic radiance to basically connect with Mother Earth and invent, be innovative with Mother Earth to help humanity return back to its more sophisticated sense of freedom, more energetic sense of freedom. Freedom that's more honest, it's wiser, it's more stable, it's more productive. It's simple and yet very secure in oneself. So that's very much this Uranus and Taurus energy. So those are all the retrogrades that I wanted to discuss, and there are a lot, and they're all back to back to back. So all of this is really, really interesting. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 that I've mentioned. Again, they've been occurring basically this whole year, but I wanted to do my whole channel on them. So I hope that this has served you. And this is the long video, but if you watch it to its completion, I'm sure that you'll get some insight on your own personal life and how this is all helping us to transform into the Aquarian breed. Namaste.